Hello, everybody. Today we are going to finish the notes we started last week on rounding and estimating with decimal numbers. I'm using Iker's class notes, but you all got basically to the same spot last week. This part that we have written are the title and the I can statement is already done. You guys have written that already. You should have your notes out, the 4.3 notes that we started last week and ready to go. When we're doing these notes, you can pause me at any time and continue to add to the notes and then hit play so that you can get all of the notes done if I'm going too fast for you. Last week we did all of the vocab together. You should have all of the vocab in your notes already. Just a quick review. Decimals part of a whole. We know what a whole number is. Any number above zero that does not have a fraction or decimal. Rounding to change a number to a nearby number. Estimate to find out about how much something is by using benchmarks and by rounding. And then reasonable, checking to see if an answer makes sense. You all, again, should have that vocab done, and you all should have your cheat sheet in here. The next step, the next main idea that we need to go through is number 2, rounding, and this is just a basic review on the steps for rounding. So in your notes, you should be writing rounding, number 2 main idea, and then note 6 is the rounding steps. Again, review of something we've been doing all year. 4 steps in rounding. Number 1, in our classroom, we underline the number that we are asking you to round to. So if we're asking you to round to the tenths, you underline the 10th place, or the tenths place. After you have underlined the number you're rounding to, you draw an arrow to the boss, you draw an arrow to the right. If the boss or the arrow, whatever the arrow is pointing to, is 5 and above, you give the underlined number a shove. If the number that the arrow is drawn to is 4 and below, you leave it alone. And then after the rounded number, or after you round the number, you turn all the other numbers to 0. Again, you should be getting all of these down. If I'm going too fast, which I know I am going fast, just pause and write down the notes and then go ahead and click play. No need to do a cheat sheet for this one. That is your cheat sheet. So go ahead and just do what I just did there, draw an arrow. That is something that I'm pretty confident you all know. It's something that we will use for a cheat sheet, just to say you need to know that. That's what the arrow represents, saying, hey, you need to know that. After you draw a line then for number 3, we're going to do some estimating. We'll start off with our first question here. Our first problem, it says 16 and 31 hundredths minus 9 and 95 hundredths, estimate. To do this, we just need to figure out what we're going to turn these numbers into so that we can make a quick, in our brain, judgment about what we think the answer is close to. So you guys, 16 and 31 hundredths is about, remember our about symbol, is about 16. And we know that 9 and 95 hundredths is about 10. The reason we're picking 16 and 10 as well is because easily in your brain, you can calculate 16. Remember, we're doing minus, so 16 minus 10, answer is 6. So when estimating, what I would expect you to do is use the about symbols here and tell me what the numbers are close to. And then once you have your two numbers that are pretty compatible or easy to calculate with, go ahead and just give me your answer. Again, things you should be able to do in your head when you're using estimation. Second one, not so cut and dry. If we are going to round 6 and 41 hundredths and 6 and 19 hundredths to the nearest whole number, it would be 6 minus 6, which is 0. So we can't do that. So if you wrote that, you can erase it. In your brain, though, you guys are very capable of turning 6 and 41 hundredths into about 6 and 4 tenths, or 6 and 40 hundredths, depending if you want to add that 0 or not. And then 6 and 19 hundredths, we want to, again, come up with a number that would be pretty easy to calculate with, considering we have 6 and 4 tenths or 6 and 40 hundredths. So I'm going to turn this into 6 and 20 hundredths. Eventually what I did, or essentially what I did, is I rounded to the nearest tenth for both of those numbers. I rounded 6.41 to 6.40, and I rounded 6.19 to 6.20. You guys, again, can do that pretty easily. You don't need to actually show your work. You know that 6 and 40 hundredths minus 6 and 20 hundredths, we're really just subtracting the 4 and the 2 right here. Final answer for this one is 2 tenths. If you want to say 20 hundredths, you can. But 0 is really not an acceptable estimate answer because we want to at least get some data or some answer that is helping us understand what the estimate would be, or what the actual answer would be if we calculate it. So 2/10. Last thing, you're going to write this problem down. Blythe bought a shirt from Target for $23.14. Again, pause me if I'm going too fast, but you do need to write this problem down. Blythe bought a shirt from Target for $23.14. She paid with a $50 bill. What is a reasonable amount of money she should expect back? So in other words, what is the change that she should be getting back? We're going to show our work on this by, again, using our about symbol. A couple, actually 3 different ways, in my opinion, that you could get this right. First of all, the $50 bill, we're not going to change that number to anything. We're going to use $50 for all of them because 50 is a nice, easy number. It's a nice rounded number. It's actually a benchmark number. First thing I'm going to do, or what I'm going to do for all 3 of them, is I'm going to start with $23.14. And some of you might be thinking, well, $23.14, if I round to the nearest whole number, would be about $23. $50 is exactly, so I'm going to say $50 is $50. Many of you can do that one pretty quickly in your brain without actually showing the math. You know that 23 is pretty close to 25. So 25, and the difference between 25 and 50 is 25. And just add the 2 more on for 27, the 2 more that you're missing between 23 and 25 to get to 27. So a really good estimate would be to turn the $23.14 into $23. And we're leaving the $50. $27 is a great estimate. So that would be one way of doing this problem. You're going to show all of the ways that I'm showing, so make sure you're writing this down in your notes. Others of you might be thinking $23.14 is pretty darn close to a benchmark number of $20. In this case, we're actually rounding to the nearest 10, or to the nearest, to the nearest tens, as we're turning 23.14. So if this is the tens place, draw near to the boss, we're turning it into $20. $50 is again going to stay $50. So $50 is the same exact thing as $50. And in your brain, all we're doing is calculating the difference between 2 and 5, which is 3. Add that 0 on. We know the difference is around $30, or the estimate would be Blythe would be getting $30 back. So I would take both of those answers. A third answer that I would take is if somebody decided that we wanted to change $23.14 to a benchmark number, which is $25. 25 is definitely a benchmark number. You've all proven to me many times you can count by 25s. So we're going to turn $23.14 to 25. Again, $50 is a nice, easy number to work with, so we're going to keep it at $50. And again, I know all of you can count by 25, so 25, 50, we would have a difference of about $25. So estimating these word problems, again, we use rounding to the nearest. In this case, we rounded to the nearest whole dollar, which is the ones place. In this case, we rounded to the nearest tens. In this case, we actually use benchmark numbers. Sorry for my sloppy writing. You don't actually need to write these things down. But in those situations, we use benchmark numbers. Go ahead and draw a line. That is the end of our notes for today. This is what we're going to be doing in our assignment here coming up in just a second. I would like you to add your own cheat sheet to your notes. So add your own cheat sheet here, something you're doing on your own as you finish these notes. Once you are done with the notes, you go ahead and click them in your binder. And I'm just going to continue the video here for another minute or two and show you what the assignment is that you're all going to be doing once you finish these notes. So if you're not done with the notes, make sure you pause me, rewind me, whatever you need to do so that you can finish the notes. Assignment, here we go. The assignment looks like this, 4.3 homework. You're going to do, so get a piece of paper out and a pencil, make sure you write down your title, 4.3 homework. We're going to do 1 through 16 all, but you can skip 13. So we're going to do 1 through 16 all, you can skip 13. This is your title, right there at the top of your paper. The first 9 are pretty, I said put this on the test, we'll talk about that when we correct tomorrow. The first 9 are pretty self-explanatory. I need you to use your underlining and your arrows to show your work. In this situation right here, we're rounding to the nearest whole number, which is the ones place. So FYI, rounding to the nearest whole number is the ones place. So if I'm rounding to 8.36 to the nearest whole number, I underline the ones place, draw an arrow to my boss, and do what I need to do. Second set of questions is rounding to the nearest tenth. So 4, 5, and 6, we're rounding to the nearest tenth. Make sure you will show your underlining and your arrows and then give your final answer. And then the last set of numbers is rounding to the nearest 100th. Show your underlining and your arrows along with your answer. 10, 11, 12, estimate each sum or difference. We're going to use the about symbol. So use the about symbol as we did, it says it right here, as we did in our notes. You're going to change these numbers into whatever it is you need to change them into so that you can easily calculate the difference or the sum of all three of them. You can skip 13, 14, 15, and 16. Read 14 carefully. Give me an explanation about what it's asking you to explain. Probably words would be easier than math this time. For number 15, explain why or why not. So again, I would probably use words. Read what it's asking you to do. And then for number 16, explain what place value to round to for an estimate. So again, if you read these, just give me an explanation about what it's asking. And if you have to use math or if you think using math would be better, go for it. But words would be perfectly acceptable. So 1 through 16, I'll skip 13. That's your explanation. Good luck. Read your update for the rest of the work that you can do after you finish the notes and the assignment. This is all going to be due. The assignment is going to be due tomorrow, and I expect your notes to be done tomorrow as well. See you all on Tuesday.